Australians are renowned worldwide for giving to worthy causes, but when times are tough, charities are having to come up with ingenious new ways to grab donations. And one new method is helping charities and businesses alike. I'm Penny Lane, and In the Driver's Seat starts now. Rowan Mccloskey dreams of providing 100 million acts of generosity every year. It's no small feat, but thanks to the creation of Go Generosity, he's on track, helping tens of thousands of people already. Rowan Mccloskey, welcome to In the Driver's Seat.
Hi, Penny.
Thanks so much for joining me. Now, tell us first, what is Go Generosity and how does it work?
Yeah, so Go Generosity, we call it a pay it forward platform. So essentially what we do is we're an app that plugs into e-commerce businesses that enables consumers to be generous whenever they shop online.
And how did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, well, this was interesting. So my background is actually not technology. So my background is hospitality. I've been in the hospitality industry for over 20 years. And it was during COVID when our businesses, our restaurants got shut down, where the idea of Go Generosity was birthed. We actually saw that there was so much need out there for charities. Specifically in our situation, charities needed food. And so as a business that was really struggling financially at the time, we asked our customers, gave them the invitation to be generous when they shopped with us or when they came and dined with us or bought from our businesses online. And we actually just turned that money into food, and we just enabled the charities come and collect the food from our restaurant. So that was back now, I suppose, just over 5 years ago in terms of the original idea. But today, we operate on e-commerce. We find e-commerce is just a great platform to enable generosity at scale. And so that's how it all started.
And was it hard getting other people, like key people involved and interested at the start?
Yeah, I think so. I think the time has changed. Like even in the past 5 years when the idea was originally there, we've seen a real change in consumer behaviours. We've seen a real change in even businesses, I suppose, being open to enabling customers to be generous when they shop with them. So at first, there was definitely more pushback. I think it was one of those sort of somewhat too early stages when we first had the idea. But in the last 2 years since we've been on e-commerce, we're seeing again, behaviours changing in all the right ways. We're seeing businesses that are wanting to add this, they're wanting to enable more generosity, and we're seeing the consumer generosity wallet increase. So what we mean by that is the consumers are more generous when they shop online, and that's increasing month on month, which is really exciting.
Fantastic. Now, you've described setting up Go Generosity as one of the hardest things in your life. What was the biggest challenge, and did you ever think of giving up at any time?
Yeah, so short answer, I have thought of giving up many times. Look, I think one of the things, like Go Generosity, there's quite a lot of emotion in starting a business like this. You know, it is a for impact business. We're here to try and tackle the challenges of technology and integrations and all the various things that we do, but we're actually a business that's trying to impact people for better, and we're actually trying to enable generosity, and we're trying to make the world a better place. So there was many challenges with getting started. I think with any type of tech business, trying to get it started financially is always the challenge. So, you know, we did raise some money, and we were quite blessed in the fact that we could raise money. But, you know, at first, when, as I mentioned, the original idea came from my restaurants, we actually weren't an e-commerce business to start with. You know, Go Generosity, we thought our business was an in-store business where we would enable consumers to be generous when they shopped in-store. And we actually found there was quite a lot of friction with that consumers became awkward about it, even staff became awkward about talking about it. So we sort of had to pivot and change our direction. So there's many things now, looking back, that I would do differently if I had my time again. And some of those things were so challenging where we potentially, you know, we nearly stopped. But I think there's just been this sort of inner desire in me to see this business succeed for all the right reasons. So we've just hung in there, and I'm glad we have, because things are going really well.
Well, I'm glad you did. I think it's fantastic. And businesses benefit as well as the charities. How's that?
Yeah, so there's the social benefit. So what we see, we've got statistics showing that say 98% of consumers, 98% of consumers, sorry, would be more likely to shop with a business that has a for-purpose message that they're helping the community, supporting charity, even enabling the customer to be generous when they shop online versus a business that doesn't. We also see that 83% of consumers are more likely to complete a purchase when they see all of those same things as well. So there's those benefits, and you could sort of say they're indirect benefits, and then there's the benefit of the donation running through the business. So we've got two models. We've at one of our models, we actually turn donations into online vouchers, and the charities get the vouchers and spend them back with the business. And we've got a second part of our model where the donations just go directly to the charity. So in the first part of the model, that's actually helping the business. So all of those donations that have been turned into vouchers being spent back with the business, it creates, I suppose, a circular loop of generosity, and all of that money is coming back through the business. The benefits of that is we've got transparency over it. So we see exactly where the money's being spent, exactly what the charity is getting access to. But then it also enables the business to be more generous as well. The business can then match dollar for dollar, or they can give away more products. So that's sort of a bit of a long-winded answer, but that's sort of how we measure that.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that's a really good way to describe it. Having been an ambassador for a few charities for many years, having your app on my website, I find it so much easier to do that and get donations that way than constantly being out there shaking the tin, so to speak. So I think what you've come up with is absolutely fantastic. And how big of an impact do you think Go Generosity has on the lives of people in need?
Yeah, well, look, what we've measured is that since we've been active, we've impacted roughly 62,000 people in need. So we've got, of course, we've got transparency across the entire platform. So from the donations that come in to either the gift cards or the cash that goes to the charity, we have an understanding from the charities in terms of how much money does it take to impact one person. So we're calculating that information really accurately. So over the last couple of years, we've seen over 62,000 people be impacted. We don't necessarily see all of those people. We do get stories though from the charities, which are life-changing. You know, we've had many moments in the office where some tears have happened because you see the incredible impact
Beautiful.
that something like this can have. But, you know, look, at the end of the day, Penny, it's the charities and the people that donate that are the heroes. I think we just created a platform, a technology platform that enables generosity. But you know, we're not boots on the ground. We're not the ones that are actually out there doing the work. It's the charities that are the heroes. They're the ones that are just working tirelessly to help people in need, to make life better for people. So whatever we can do to enable that and do more of that, then we're all for it.
Oh, that's very humble of you. Now, how do you vet the charities that you donate to?
Great. So each business or not-for-profit organisation has to be a registered not-for-profit to join our platform. We put them through. We've got a survey, so when they join the platform, we understand what they use the money for or the products for. We understand who they're helping, how they're helping people in need, and just do some sort of like background checks on their organisation around, you know, what is their ratio in terms of impact? Is this actually going to be beneficial? And then I think somewhat even them publicly having a positive reputation helps as well, because we know that consumers will be more likely to donate when they recognise the charity and the charity is seen in a positive light. So we just do those sorts of checks. And then, as I mentioned before, we've then got complete transparency across how the charity uses the money and all the products when they receive them.
And why do you think it's better sometimes to give gift cards rather than just cash to the charities?
Yeah, so there's a couple of reasons. So the reason gift cards are because most charities need product. So when and this can be quite mind-blowing in terms of how much product charities need. So most charities out there are either feeding people, clothing people, giving people gifts. Those gifts could look like flowers for people who have gone through trauma. They could look like cosmetics for women that are going through domestic violence. There's a whole bunch of things. So when the charity gets access to the gift card and they can then redeem that by getting the product from the business, it's money, they don't now have to go and spend their hard-earned raised money on products. So we're getting it directly from the source, directly from the business. The benefits of doing that as well is then there's complete transparency across the platform, because we see all of the redemption. So we see the charity having redeemed the product, giving them the product to the person in need. So there's no potential risk of, say, that money being used in a way that some people may not like. We can actually see how that money's being, all those products have been redeemed and distributed into the community. The other great thing about products, or getting access to the products, is we get stories back from the charities. So recipients who've received those products, we can now get stories from them to say how much those products have impacted their lives in a positive way.
Fantastic. And where do you want to take the platform now?
Look, we have, as you mentioned at the start, we have a desire to see 100 million acts of generosity, and we know that that's a massive task ahead. We know that's a huge vision, but we really see that we can do that through technology. So through scaling with e-commerce businesses like yours, and integrating with other platforms globally, we believe that we can enable generosity at scale that will see us achieve those goals.
We're almost out of time, and I've got so many more questions to ask you, because I really want people to know as well what a brilliant, brilliant thing that you're doing. So Rowan, what is the best advice you've ever been given, or what advice have you got for our viewers on how to be successful?
Look, I think at the start, one of the questions you asked me is, did I feel like giving up? And I would say that having a desire, when you believe in something and there's something that you want to see to fruition, is having that grit to just keep going, to hang on. I think you would know this, being an entrepreneur, that there is tough times, there's many days that you feel like giving up. But I think if you truly believe in something, I think there's this balance between, sometimes you need to let something go as well, and that's okay. But within yourself when you should be fighting for something. And I think that's the time that you just got to put your head down, bum up. You've got to dig deep and somehow find the energy just to keep pushing on. That's been, for me, we're still going through that. We're still a startup, it's still hard. And I don't think you ever overcome that as someone that's in business or doing things like we're all doing. So don't give up. Keep believing in yourself, keep backing yourself, and you will get through that.
Great advice. Thank you so much, Rowan. Now, I encourage anybody who has got an e-commerce business to check out the Go Generosity website, and it's so easy to integrate, and Rowan is the absolute best person for you to talk to. So Rowan, thank you so much for joining me in the driver's seat.
Great. Thanks, Penny. Thanks for having me.
In the Driver's Seat is proudly brought to you by the Perfect Cosmetics Company. This is Ticker, and we'll be right back.
You're watching Ticker. We'll have more in just a few minutes.